Before we get started today and go do our service calls, just doing an oil change on the shop truck. It's a 97 Dodge Ram 3/4 ton with a 5.9 Magnum. It's got almost 260,000 miles on it. We've had it for maybe about 5 months now, and just kind of been working through some neglect. When we bought this truck, it had been in an accident. It hit a deer in the front corner, so we had to put a hood, a fender, a bumper, a headlight in it, fix the AC. Since then, just giving the truck a good tune-up, replaced a few odds and end parts on it, started fixing some oil leaks. We're still going to have to pull the heads off this truck. It's going to need valve seals put in it. It uses, well, a little hard to guess there, but over 3,000 miles. We've added 1 quart to keep it topped up, but we did have some oil leaks. We fixed it with valve cover gaskets leaking on this truck. But I'm going to guess probably at least a half of that quart was burned over that 3,000 mile period. So I'm going to probably do heads on it, I don't know, maybe the next month or two here. So I'll do a little video pulling those off real quick. When it comes apart, I want to do some upgrades inside of here, so I'll probably take it down farther than I need to for heads, and we'll probably do timing chain, we'll probably do, front cover seals, all that stuff, and just knock a bunch of maintenance items out while we're at it. So that cut down 55-gallon drum right there, let one of my friends borrow it, so I had to come grab it this morning before we go do this service. But currently being used as a shelf in his garage. We got a Jeep Comanche here. This thing is a 2.5 4-cylinder with a 5-speed. It's 2-wheel drive. A couple years ago, I was parting out a Jeep that was a 4-liter 5-speed 4-wheel drive. I pulled the motor out of it because I used that engine as a base for a stroker build I did, but I gave him the rest of the rolling shell with the trans in it. So we have 2 sets of transmissions and transfer case to swap this thing to 4-wheel drive. We're trying to decide right now if we're going to leave the 2.5 in it and use an AX5, or if we're going to put a 4-liter in here and use an AX15. Because over here, that is a 4.2 missing a crankshaft. That's the one I used to crank out of for my stroker build. Everything else is there. I just took the crank out of it. And then somewhere around here, he has a whole nother 4.0 sitting. So that's one build. Once we do 4-wheel drive, that's getting a 6-inch lift. And then let me go walk out back and we'll go show you another one of the projects we got sitting out here. Well, I guess starting with the projects, that Camaro, this one, that Cadillac, and this Corvette were all seized in a drug bust, and we picked them up at auction. So all 3 of these cars are getting flipped right now. He's got a Duramax here. This used to be his daily driver. It went through a pole. We're working on fixing all the accident damaging it in that truck back on the road. It's a pretty heavily tuned and modified LBZ. It's a great truck to go towing with. But then right here, we got a Jeep ZJ. This thing was totaled. We got it for free. Wheels and tires are the old 31s off Anthony's Jeep. He, I think, paid $50 for those from Anthony. Rear diff is welded. It's got a 3-inch lift that I think we paid like $150 for. It's spacers and shocks. Some LED pods where the headlights used to go. This is a lower guard off of a semi. It goes under the radiator between the CAC. So the previous owner put a Liberty light bar on it. But we wheeled the hell out of this thing. The last redneck grave we went to was one of the muddiest ones they've ever had, and this thing just crawled through everything. We've had it buried to the running boards. It's pulled itself out. We've got small tires on it. We took it to a burnout contest, and we killed the transmission. So we're trying to decide right now if we're going to have me rebuild the automatic, or if we're going to AX15 swap this and make this one a manual. So there'll be videos on all those coming up whenever we get around to them. There's a lot of projects over here that we mess with, so it's kind of at a when we get to it basis. The Comanche is like 3 or 4 years in the making right now. We've had the parts for it forever. It just keeps getting pushed back because of other stuff coming up. But right now the priority is getting the dually going back because he misses having his truck. Right now he's dailing a Trans Am GTA. He doesn't like putting miles on it because it's a pretty low mileage original car built by Lingenfelter. So in the next couple weeks here, probably some videos of us getting this thing back together. It's going to the frame shop here soon. The frame rails have not been pushed, but the frame horn's a little twisted on the front of this. So there's the damage from where it hit the pole. It went through the telephone pole and kept going, but we need to pull that frame horn back straight, and then it needs a cooling pack, hood, fenders, bumper, upper and lower core supports. I know the degas bottle was broke when we looked at it. It's got a Banks cold air intake. We're going to try to save it. There's a couple cracks in the box, but I think I can plastic weld that back together. But it's a pretty clean truck for what it is. It's got a few miles on it, but we've towed a lot of projects home with this. We actually just got rid of an 8.1 Avalanche he had sitting out here. He was driving that for a while. But he figured as long as that was sitting here, he wasn't going to have any hurry to get this truck done because he was just driving the Avalanche. So this should be in the next couple of weeks here. We're going to start cracking on this truck and get it done. So this is today's project. It's a Freightliner Columbia Hallmark hauler. So originally this was Danica Patrick's father's motorhome, and it's been since sold. One of my customers owns it. It's Mercedes-Benz powered, has an automated manual in it, and we do pretty much everything on this thing. From the day he's bought it, we're the only one who's touched it for service and repair. It's in really great shape. This thing is almost perfect. I mean, the guy had us go through and everything down to all the lights were replaced if they were even fogged a little bit. But we're going to just start working through a simple service on it, oil change and fuel filters. Everything else, we had a major service done the last time, so it got air filter, cabin air filter, transmission, and diffs were all done. So just going to knock out a quick service on it, and then give it a good inspection and grease the truck. Let the customer know how everything went. So as far as filters go, for the oil filter and the fuel filter, we use genuine Mercedes parts on all of our trucks. We get them straight from Freightliner. But this filter is not a Mercedes part. This is a Freightliner part. We have tried ordering it by the VIN number through Freightliner. They can never seem to get us the right one, so we go through Napa on that one. And then Mobile Delvac 1300, 1540. Like I said, everything other than that filter we get straight through Freightliner. They're actually cheaper than us going through Napa or O'Reilly or any of our other suppliers. They give a great commercial discount for shops. So we got the bottom off the fuel filter here. You can see that sediment down in there below the fuel heater. Always want to get that cleaned out before you put it back together. This has got the fuel heater, and then the other thing you see there is the water and fuel sensor. That comes off the bottom of that filter. Alright, we got the oil change and the fuel filters swapped. We've primed them. Truck is in neutral. So we're going to go ahead and try to start it. And we've got oil pressure, good idle. Truck actually holds decent air too. Alright, we're going to let it sit and run for a while, get up to temp. We're going to double check all the other fluids, and then all that's left is going to be to grease this thing and finish up the inspection. But this thing is an amazing unit. I always just like to go around when I start an engine up, make sure I'm not seeing any leaks from the oil filter. There are a couple drips on the ground there. That is from when I moved the drain pan. I'm going to have to crawl into there and clean those up. But everything looks pretty good on it. Check the air filter. That was new on the last service. I pulled the cabin air filter, which was right there. We did that on the last service as well. It looked good. Coolant level looks good. Power steering looks good on it. I am going to check the transmission and diffs when I crawl underneath of it to grease it. But I always wait to do that towards the end of the service. I can usually stay pretty clean doing this part of it. This truck has a very light colored interior, so I try to wait till the end to do everything that's going to get dirty. That way I don't have a risk of leaving, you know, oil or grease or dirt on the interior of the customer's truck, because that's just not professional. All right, well, we're back at Aaron's because I told him last night that there was a Comanche for sale, and he decided that 2 Jeeps isn't enough, right?
I'm a fleet of manual Jeeps.
Yeah, so let's go buy a 3rd one so we can get back to making manual Jeeps. Don't run me over. I am. Don't run me over. Quit playing with it and just start it.
He had eBay special pods on there, and they looked like shit. I mean, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. They were bright. Yeah.
Did the guy that you bought it from drive?
Yes, it's been
Oh, the alternator's low on this.
So after almost no negotiation and very little looking, the guy came down like 500 bucks on the price and we bought it. So Aaron's gonna come back tomorrow and pick it up. Now he's got 3 Jeeps with another project. That one's 2-wheel drive 4.0. And give us a little bit of time here and it'll be a 4-wheel drive 4.0 and lifted. I also forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about the fleet of cars out here at Aaron's, the drug dealer Cadillac project here. This car is one of the ones we picked up from that drug bust buy of impounded cars. You know, just a pretty much a stock Cadillac. Tinted windows, nothing special. Dead mice inside of it. Smells pretty bad. We halfway cleaned it. Tree fell on it like a week ago or 2. But this thing's going to be getting a supercharger. Cadillac made a supercharged Northstar for the STSV and the XLRV. And we've been seeing them on eBay for about $1,000 bucks. So this thing will be getting a supercharger and some cutouts. We're gonna make a little sleeper out of this thing.